back at it again. Our lead this hour coming from Sin City. Yes, good news for Mark, the Astro Warrior and Raider fan. We are back on the prowl, attacking those lovable losers in Nevada. And they keep filling up the content kitty. Now, people are genuinely perplexed. They can't believe that this Josh McDaniels cat has picked up a couple of votes of confidence despite having the NFL's second worst record, 2-7. They are only behind the Texans for the number one pick, losing to a TV guy, Jeff Saturday, whose experience was coaching high school football in suburban Atlanta. And the indignity, the shame of all of this. And now for the rest of the story. Now, I did see Josh McDaniels was very grateful for the vote of confidence, but we're now learning the real reason why Josh McDaniels is still employed as the coach in Lost Wages, Nevada. And the story goes like this. The Raiders don't have the money. They don't have the money to fire this guy and pay him off because they are cash poor. Say what? Well, veteran ink-stained scribe Bill Plaschke is passing on. You hear him on Fox Sports Radio from time to time. He says that not only is Josh McDaniels safe this season, but he is guaranteed to return next season no matter how bad the Raiders get on the field. He's going to come back because the owner doesn't have the means to pay off the contract, because then they'd have to hire another coach, and that would cost more money. They don't want to do it. So let us discuss. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the Raiders keeping Josh McDaniels because of money. They are cash poor. So I am going 2 thumbs up on this. 2 thumbs up on this. I've got sweepstakes, lemon stand, and racketeering. And we will lock all of these things together, and we are going to make the old one-armed bandit right there in Sin City, the one-armed bandit. So, number one. On this Raider story, it is a logical explanation to the unexplainable. In the uber-competitive world of the NFL, we hear it all the time. Everyone wants to win every game. There's no such thing as a rebuild. You're hired to be fired. You're expendable. Well, Josh McDaniels has committed multiple capital sins to lose his job as Raider coach. He has done things that no other Raider coach has ever done. The Raiders have been pretty bad for the last 20 years, for the most part. And Josh McDaniels has done things that none of those other terrible coaches like Hugh Jackson, or you go down the list, none of those other guys did, right? And when you evaluate his job performance under any objective measurement, he's been puke salad. He's been puke salad. Garbage. That has been what Josh McDaniels has been. Now, Mark Davis being cash poor, that's the story, that has actually been whispered about for years. It's been bandied about for years. We have circumstantial evidence that is the case. The Raiders owner, let me make my case here why I believe the story that Mark Davis is cash poor. The Raiders owner is dealing with old money. Al Davis was the patriarch of the Raiders. Al Davis was the breadwinner in that family. Mark Davis inherited the team from his father, running the team, controlling interest in the Raiders. It's not new money. You're talking, again, old money. New money is self-made money. Mark Davis hasn't earned a damn thing his entire life. He won the grand prize in the genetic sweepstakes. Congratulations. Being the spawn of an NFL owner. Now, in comparison to his contemporaries, he lives a very modest life. Now, we like to have fun and say he's a man of the people. Mark has his trademark bowl haircut, which he likes because it's low maintenance. He just blow dries his hair. He doesn't have to comb it. He passes up on the Gulfstream private jets. He flies Southwest Airlines. Nothing is Southwest Airlines. I fly Southwest Airlines. I don't own an NFL team. As of a few years ago, Davis was driving a 1997 Dodge Caravan. He does not have a driver like Robert Kraft. Remember when Robert Kraft was leaving the rub and tug massage there in Florida? He had his Bentley, but his driver was there in his Bentley. He doesn't have that. Mark Davis also recently got into a fender bender, and he was driving a Mini Cooper. Are there any other NFL owners that drive Mini Coopers? Probably not. Probably not. And while Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder and other big shots in the NFL are traveling to California to eat at the French Laundry with those highfalutin political hacks, Mark Davis is eating at In-N-Out and P.F. Chang's. Okay, sounds to me like a guy that does not have tons of dough to throw around. He's pitching pennies. He's a tightwad, trying to save money, and why not trying to ride out that old money? Now, NFL teams do make a fair amount of money. Their built-in profit margin every year is pretty high, but you want to keep that money because that's your money to play with. You don't want to spend that money paying off Josh McDaniels so he can go back to the Patriots and work with Belichick again. All right, page 2. So what is it going to take for Josh McDaniels to be forcibly removed sooner than next season, which is what the story is now? So the way I will describe it to you, it's like college football. College football, they call them boosters. For the Raiders, they're going to have to find a booster, probably being in Vegas, a casino mogul or a whale of a gambler who steps up with a big wad of cash. Like Mark Davis is not going to spend his own money. He's got to find a sugar daddy. Got to get that sugar daddy and help the silver and black. Maybe they can hold a bake sale, sell some stuff on eBay, offer up, whatever it takes. Now, meanwhile, the Raiders, I have an idea going forward for the Raiders at the rules committee. When they, in the offseason, when they go over the rules, the Raiders, this is a great idea. I had an epiphany. When I was walking to the studio here, I had an epiphany. The Raiders should propose opening a lemon stand. Right? Lemon stand. Or at least adding a rule. The lemon law. You won't get a lemon in the NFL. Right? Won't get a lemon. That's a great tagline on a commercial for a Toyota dealership in Southern California, Toyota of Orange. But this would provide insurance and an escape hatch for teams that hire coaches who repeatedly fail to meet standards of quality and performance. It is odd to me that there's nothing like this in professional sports. Many companies require completion of a probationary period. If you want to be a police officer or there's a number of jobs, I use police as an example because I'm aware of it, you have to pass a probationary period, and only after that point are you then hired officially. You've got permanent employment status. Up until that point, not the case. So if you hire a coach, why not say, okay, you're a probationary coach, and if you don't pass the test, you're out. Josh McDaniels is a defective grifter at this point. You look at everything he's done outside of being alongside Bill Belichick and or Tom Brady, and it's a failure. Of course, most NFL teams have enough moolah where they wouldn't need a lemon law because they can actually afford to pay off whoever they have to pay off to make a problem go away. All right, final point. So the final point is this. Which direction do the Raiders go moving forward, right? I know we've still got a lot of football to go and all that and blah, 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 blah. But if they don't get a guardian angel to dump some money and make McDaniels go away, then the silver and black will have to take a left turn. Derek Carr is on borrowed time. He was a crying mess. He was a glass house of emotion the other day. And that was a great distraction, trying to cover for his coach, make everyone talk about Derek Carr and all that. But he's been guilty of racketeering with the Raiders for years. And Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr are guilty of grand larceny for both being frauds. The Raiders, at this point, are going to have a top 5 pick in the draft. They'd have number 2. That means that they have a chance to draft one of the top quarterbacks in college football. And there are said to be 3 blue-chip quarterbacks. Now, I'm skeptical about all these guys, but NFL teams usually aren't. So the move here, if you're really concerned about money, you can get out of the Carr contract. You trade Devontae Adams because he won't want to play in Raider land anymore if Carr is BFF's not there, although the way things have gone this year, maybe that's not the case. And you can then draft a quarterback that will be cost-friendly to the team for a few years on that rookie contract. You keep your money down. Then you use the term, which is verboten in the NFL, you use the term rebuild, in air quotes. Rebuild, which is socially acceptable in professional sports. It's a term for sucking. You can sell some snake oil. It's like that old Sixers GM, Sam Hinkie, the shell game that he was playing with the Sixers. Trust the process. And the Raiders, here's the thing with the Raiders, and this is the big mistake the Raiders made. The Raiders were actually trying to be good this year. I truly believe that. I believe the Raiders thought they were going to be a good team this year and were convinced they were going to be at least a wild card team in the AFC, and they ended up being hot diarrhea. Diarrhea! That's the Raiders. And if you tell people that you're going to be good and you're not good, that's the worst. But for some reason, if you tell people, oh, we're going to rebuild, we're going to suck, we're going to be dumpster diving, a lot of people will give you a pass. It's an oddity. It is really an oddity of how all of this works, but that is the way it is. That is the fact of the matter.